I like
What
that
up,
little
MK?
blouse
Mina?
cardigan combo. Okay, Fall. Mina, we're starting with you. Who's the biggest threat to the Chiefs in the AFC?
It's the Baltimore Ravens. Not just because they beat the Bills, right? Who I think most of us would agree it's between those two teams as being right behind Kansas City in the AFC. But when I look at the Bills, the Ravens, and the Chiefs, all three teams who we would put in that tier, the best unit of all of those teams is the Ravens offense. I am not sure people appreciate what this Ravens offense is doing historically by a lot of metrics. One of the ones you guys know I love to cite, DVOA, which accounts for opponent. This is one of the best offenses in NFL history through the midpoint of the season. In fact, in that metric, they're actually better than those Patriots teams in 2007, 2010. They are so dominant in so different ways, running the football, throwing it, play action, passing. Lamar Jackson playing the best football of his career. They haven't even integrated Deontay Johnson. So when I think about these three teams, and also specifically who would give the Chiefs problems because of their ability to keep up with them, I go to that Ravens offense. I understand the defense has not played great football thus far this year. I believe they will be better at the end of the season than they have been. There have been some injuries on that side of the ball. I think the coaching change has impacted things. But that offense is a juggernaut, guys. And it's why they beat the Bills so handily, who I imagine Dan is going to bring up, because the Bills' defense is not built to stop this Ravens offense that can play power football and just ground and pound them.
I agree with that point, but I still think that the Buffalo Bills, because, listen, Josh Allen, I think there's one quarterback that the Chiefs don't want to see. Like, pray to God, please don't let him get in. That's Joe Burrow. Because there's styles, and the way that you play against
fights. Come on, Molly, come on,
we got all the cliches. There's just ways that the guy plays, and I think defensively that the way they could do it. I think that's part of this. I think the second part is Josh Allen would be the guy that I think that the Chiefs fear a little bit more than just Lamar. Lamar's freaking ridiculous. I don't need to minimize Lamar and his unbelievable talent. But Josh has that a little bit of, like, I can go face-to-face with Patrick a little bit. Like, I can go blow for blow versus Patrick, and he's seen him in the playoffs to have 1,000 yards against them. I think their offense is diverse enough because of all the different people that they have. Shakir has certainly taken the step forward. Keon and Amari have been impactful, the two tight ends, the way that they could run the football with their 6 offensive linemen. So I think I agree with the point of, like, the defense. I think Buffalo's defense can match up against Kansas City's offense just because Kansas City's offense wants to be efficient rather than explosive. I do understand how dominant Baltimore's offense is.
Yeah.
I mean, Mina, you brought up the stat of DVOA. If we were just taking yards per play, Baltimore's average right now is 7. That would be historically the greatest ever. The the 2000 Rams.
That's crazy.
Greatest show on turf with Kurt Warner and Isaac Bruce, who's not in the Hall of Fame, I don't think, which is absolutely stupid. Torrey Holt, I think, as well. So they were 6.9. That's the greatest ever. So, yes, Baltimore's offense is absolutely absurd. I have hesitations on their defense.
The answer is the Baltimore Ravens. And a lot of, obviously, what Mina just said of how good this offense is and how well Lamar is playing from the pocket. And it takes time to even get to Derrick Henry because of how well Lamar has been. We keep talking about him as the MVP. They have the leading rusher in their backfield in Derrick Henry. And yes, the pass defense has struggled. They've been first in the league in rush yards allowed defensively. So I think for them, it's a matter of figuring out in that back end, how do you match up? And Dan, you brought up a great point of how the Chiefs are playing on offense, and that's possessing the ball, not explosive plays. The issue for the Baltimore Ravens has been in the back end, giving up those explosive plays, especially late in games. So I think that matchup for them, yes, they played early in the season. They lost the toe of Isaiah Likely, but I think they've gotten better offensively, even from that standpoint of figuring out exactly who they are. And then a guy like Zay Flowers, he has over 100 yards in 4 of his last 5 games. They are starting to click, and that duo is going to be one of the best ones as the season comes to end. So I look at this matchup-wise because I think the Buffalo Bills defense is good. I think with the 2 high safeties, how they play and all of that, it works. I'm a little hesitant when it comes down to winning in the fourth quarter of how they match up man-to-man with different teams to win the game late. That's usually what it takes. I think this Baltimore Ravens team, as well as they're playing on offense right now, they're the team I think.
Jason, this has been a day.
I appreciate you finally agreeing
You're my
with me.
guy, but the fact that I'm going to have to side with Dan yet again
Shows growth and development.
It's been a rough day for you.
us? Yeah. No.
He was saying for you.
So when you talk to me about, again, when we talk about the Ravens defense,
Their pass defense.
That's great. And closing out games, correct?
They struggle.
You know what Patrick Mahomes doesn't struggle with? Fourth quarter and
Anything
beyond.
with football.
Anything but football.
Yeah,
but
right.
even this week, that man is talking about, you know what's so great about us? Why we match up with anybody? Because we understand those long play, 10, 15, 18-yard plays. We take up all that time. We practice it in the preseason and training camp. When we're at St. Joe's, we understand how to methodically work our way down the field. That's why we feel like in the fourth quarter, there's nobody better than us. So, Jason, when you tell me about the Ravens, that's the thing that stops me. Because, again, that's the liability. That defense that hasn't played up to par, in my opinion. And also, their own capabilities, and they've said it all season, and you're waiting for them to turn around. And on the flip side, you have the Bills. Josh Allen, what is the best way to attack a Chiefs defense that we all agree? Standout unit, right?
Absolutely.
Josh Allen attack them. That arm, that to me is the difference. And I think the experience that the Bills have against the Chiefs, granted they've come up short. But year after year, having seen them, having to face Patrick Mahomes, I just think to me the Bills are the team that could say, yeah, this is the moment we can get over them. I understand with James Cook, I love that they're more balanced now. Have they beaten it?
We're going to find out.
We're going to find out. But I feel better about my chances with Josh Allen in this particular matchup.
I feel kind of like crazy now because I'm not usually the person who references head-to-head, but the Ravens crushed the Bills, guys. Like, that happened. It was a month ago. I just want to acknowledge that, and I want to go back to something Dan said about, which quarterback, which offense is the Chiefs defense afraid to play. I don't think it's a coincidence that Jason, having played defense, agrees with me here. You do not want to play this Ravens offense. The Bills offense is great. Josh Allen is playing great football, and they're getting better. And they are a good rushing attack. I love this scheme. They've had some ups and downs over the course of the season. Obviously, the Texans game comes to mind. This Ravens offense compromises you as a defense every way possible. They have a numerical advantage. They have a spatial advantage. Bodies-wise, you cannot match with them. You sell out to stop the run. They will kill you with the play-action pass. What Lamar is doing as a passer from inside the pocket this year and his chemistry with Zay Flowers, particularly in that play-action passing attack, that is every defensive coordinator in the league's worst nightmare. Yeah, I understand. Josh Allen is fantastic. The Bills' offense is very good. They are my third team in the AFC. But respectfully, I feel if you pulled 31 defensive coordinators right now, all of them would say, we do not want to deal with this Ravens offense.
I don't have a big leg to stand on disagreeing with you guys. I think all of us can agree this. There's two teams that we feel can.
Yes.
Right? And then everybody else you're hoping. Yeah. I think Baltimore and Buffalo are the two teams that can. The question is always, okay, how do you beat Kansas City? Like there's a very specific way that you're going to have to go about beating Kansas City. Because again, for everybody at home who's like their offense, Kansas City's, they're not trying to be explosive. We talked about that this morning. They're trying to own the football. They have the best time of possession in the NFL. They've run more plays than everybody in the NFL. So, number one, to beat Kansas City, you've got to take advantage of your possessions. So, both offenses are probably capable of doing that. Candidly, Baltimore's more than Buffalo's, okay? Number two, you got to play remarkable red zone defense against Kansas City's offense. Because if they're going to have 6 possessions and 3 of them are going to be 10-plus drives, if they don't score touchdowns, it really doesn't matter, okay? So, who's got the better red zone defense? Buffalo's got a better red zone defense. So I think that's an advantage for them. And then you've got to take so much advantage of your own possessions. Like it's you cannot kick field goals. You have to be unbelievably aggressive. Fourth down does not it's unless it's 4th and 5+, you're going for it almost every single time. I think both the offenses are relatively capable of that. Who's got more people to hurt your man coverage? Kansas City's man coverage? I feel good about both. Again, I think there's two teams that I feel good about, capable of doing it. Long shot, I don't feel either one will, but capable.
Yeah, I feel really good about Baltimore's because when you talk about valuing each possession, when I think about that, I think winning on third down. In order to value a possession and extend a drive, you have to win on third down or you pick up chunk plays on first and second down. for the Baltimore Ravens, having a guy like Derrick Henry to rely on leaves you in pretty favorable third down situations to sustain drives and continue to get the ball down the field. I think once you get in the red zone, a guy like Lamar Jackson allows you to score points because now the option of him throwing, the option of him running is now heightened, and now you have to figure out a way to match up and also contain him.
In your opinion, does not the performances that they've had against that team in the playoffs matter? Because Josh has been stellar versus Kansas City in the playoffs. So Josh knows, like, I can go get it done.
Yes.
I don't think Lamar, we can't say that about Lamar against Kansas City in the playoffs.
And you can't, and again, I hate to keep talking about the Ravens defense, but if you're telling me what a great juggernaut the Ravens offense is, then we also have to pay attention to the fact that they have struggled to close out games. And that is the big thing to me, where you're playing Kansas City. That can't be your Achilles heel. You can't lose to a team like the Raiders. You can't lose to the Browns. You can't barely beat the Dallas Cowboys and then say, well, they have this juggernaut of an offense. They do, but in those critical late game moments, what is your team doing on defense and offense?
They're phenomenal, but they are beatable because there's been a lot of close wins.
Who?
Chiefs.
They're not nearly as beatable as people are making them out to be. They are freaking very difficult to beat.
But a lot of close wins.
Way more beatable last year than this year.
Oh, yes.
Way more.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's accurate.
Yes.
They're a hard team to beat.
Good talk.
That was bad.
Coming up.